This morning we have a couple that I adore, David and Dee Sanni. Can we welcome them this morning? This is David and Dee. I love this couple, and I tell you, they have story after story. These guys have lived life. They have got so many stories, and if you get a chance to talk to them more, I encourage you to do that. And they have some beautiful insights into faith, fear, and the journey of both of those things. So you guys were faced with a big decision, like Gideon was. Yours was to leave your country of origin, move to a different country. Have you ever thrown out a fleece like David have? Have you ever asked for a sign or been unsure, was this God? You know, what is God saying to me here? What do I do? God, show me a sign. How did you work through some of those decisions? I think, David, you're going to talk about this.
Thank you very much, Jess. There were definitely many times that we were sort of not sure a lot of times. Even though our situation was really not like that of Gideon, where he had to sort of doubt God and ask for signs like multiple times. I think as opposed to the era of Gideon, we are operating under the period of grace, where Jesus Christ had come, shed his blood for us. And I think we have that advantage really over poor Gideon. All right. So in a way, both my wife and I, there's been a lot of experiences even prior to when we left our country that has in a way solidified our trust and faith in God. And we just knew that he's going to look after us, whatever. So when we sort of took the decision as a young couple to leave our country, obviously we didn't have the whole picture. As you can see from all the places we've started from until we landed here, if it was as easy as we knew the end game, it would have just been so easy, isn't it? We wouldn't have gone through that interval period of 6 years from when we left our country in 2006 till when we came into Australia 2012. It will have then, if we all knew the picture right from the start, then where is the place for faith, I think.
That's good.
All right? So, but we just had to trust the journey. We just had to trust the process and just hold on to the word of God and taking it one step at a time. One thing we knew very clearly was we knew the place we didn't want to stay. We had a set mind of what we were trying to achieve. We wanted to settle in a place where we will feel peaceful, we'll be able to raise a family, and we'll be able to take the opportunities that there is, and also expose our children to the opportunities that we never had. So that was the focus. So each time we landed in a place, we were always checking within ourselves, is this the place you will have us stay? Is this place will have us stay? And all the time, both my wife and I were quite convinced that this wasn't the place. And interestingly, through a series of processes, trying to take exams to professionally qualify to work in a place, both my wife and I sort of thought, we had our mind setting on Canada, that was where God wanted us to go.
Oh, well, that's tough,
all right?
isn't it?
We had our mind set on that, and we kept pushing towards there. Everything we needed to do, we applied for permanent residency to stay legally in Canada. That came through after a lot of energy, resources, money spent, and everything. I wrote the exams that will allow me to practice professionally there. That also came through. The one thing that didn't come through for us there, with all the effort we were pushing towards Canada, was we didn't have the kind of job we wanted there. And of course, Guyana is a beautiful country. Trinidad and Tobago is a beautiful Caribbean country. There are people that God has called to settle and stay there. And God has made place for them there. But we just didn't feel that was where we wanted to be. And then we went to Canada. My wife absolutely loved the Canadian weather. She wanted winter. She wanted snow.
She loves the cold.
She loves the cold.
Oh,
all right? But again, despite as hard as we were pushing, things wasn't just coming through for us. And then we now went back to Trinidad and Tobago after we thought we had settled in Canada, but we kept pushing, nothing was happening. And then I sent all my qualification that was supposed to get me a job in Canada. We sent it to medical recruitment agents in Australia, and guess what? Within 6 or 8 weeks, we got offered 3 jobs, and I said, okay, Dee, if this is not the sign, then what else? And then with Dee just giving me one last push, there was just one more interview that I was supposed to go for in a province called Manitoba. So on one hand, we have 3 jobs waiting to come to Australia, and we had one last interview that I had to go and, attend in Manitoba. And Dee, just still wanting to go to Canada, said, okay, and I think this was our fleece moment.
Yeah.
And Dee was said, okay, you go for this interview, and if it doesn't come through, we will know that that is the sign that Canada wasn't for us. And of course, I went again, and of course it didn't come through. and then we just packed our bags and then came down to Brisbane. And I kid you not, I landed in Brisbane, and I stepped my feet on the soil of Brisbane. It was on February 12th. I wouldn't forget. The sun was shining.
It was hot.
The sun was shining. It hit my skin. I look up into the sky.
There's steaks on the tarmac.
I looked into my wife's face, and I said, this is home. I just felt it in my bones. It was so chilling. And since then, we've never looked back.
No. It took Dee a little longer.
I look back.